Last month, they were operating 120 gold buying shows a week in hotels. Then our 5-state undercover investigation revealed some managers were lying to customers and writing bad checks. Tonight, employees from THR and Associates reveal the tricks of the trade. Consumer Watch reporter Julie Watts with a story you will see only on CBS5.
Basically, if it's old gold or silver, we say, bring it in.
One morning, he was a guest on a TV show.
I would get you a check on the spot.
The next, those checks he wrote bounced, and this traveling gold buyer was wanted by police.
It was very embarrassing.
Kenny Birdsall says his company, THR and Associates, didn't tell him the checks were bad until it was too late. And he's not alone.
I said, I feel sick. I have wrote checks for 2 days. I said, do you realize that that is fraud?
Like Birdsall, Dolly DeBard resigned after discovering she'd been writing bad checks. They're just two of the many THR employees from across the country who agreed to reveal what they say is a culture of deception within one of the nation's largest gold buying operations. Many attribute the bounced checks to CEO Jeffrey Parsons' extravagant lifestyle. Court documents show he owed the IRS more than $3 million and used corporate accounts to purchase things like luxury homes, even jet planes.
Believe it or not, half of what you have on the table here is copper.
And DeBard says she wasn't surprised by the findings of our 6-station undercover investigation, in which some employees repeatedly lied about the quality of our gold.
I think a lot of managers did think it was okay to lie.
She says they felt pressure to take advantage of customers and knew Jeffrey Parsons might spy on them at any time with remote cameras and secret shoppers.
You just never knew when they were going to be watching you through your computer.
She says employees were instructed to buy gold at less than 10% of value, a practice confirmed by this THR back pocket buying guide. The incentive?
It's gold, honey.
Big bonuses. We questioned company spokesman Matt Enright about the practice following our initial investigation. The sign on his desk promises up to $200,000 a year.
Don't you think that would encourage them to lie or be dishonest to make more money?
No, absolutely not.
Where you aren't lying, you're certainly lowballing.
Well, again, it's not illegal. And so, do some of our managers maybe feel guilty? I'm sure they do.
I was always feeling guilty, especially when the older people came in and they had no idea.
It weighs 115.
She says employees were taught to use tactics like lot buying.
What they wanted us to do was just lump it all together,
allowing them to hide the value of individual items, something we caught undercover at this show in Dallas.
So all these are 14 karat?
Yeah. Many of the items in our lot were actually 18 carats, worth substantially more. And in spite of Enright's assertion,
we're not in the business of, lying to people.
DeBard says lying about gold content was certainly condoned.
It could be plainly marked, and they could make something up and say, well, it's actually filled.
I saw your previous segment, and that's straight out proof that there are still people lying.
But Birdsall says many employees were honest and unaware of what was going on behind the scenes. That is, until the checks started bouncing.
There's been some issues with checks this week.
They say that's when Parsons instructed them to immediately ship back all gold in spite of laws requiring it stay in some counties for 30 days.
So they're asking me to break the law in California to ship this stuff out of state before the 30-day hold is up. And he goes, well, you put it that way, then yes.
The final straw for many.
I'm not going to jail for Jeff Parsons. I'm done doing that man's dirty work.
Now, employees say due to bad checks, some actually had warrants out for their arrest. Many are now talking to the Illinois Attorney General, and Canadian officials have issued a warning about the company. THR has not returned our request for comment, but we've obtained this database detailing nearly $1.9 million in returned checks following that unexpected closure of its bank account. Many on this list, Alan, say they have not been reimbursed in spite of repeated calls to the company.
Quite a stack of paperwork. Okay, we said they're not doing as many shows, but they're still in business?
Absolutely. They have 30 shows in operation this week, although that's obviously down from the 120 when we began our investigation. But according to company emails, they are downsizing and asking everyone on the road to send back all their gold in preparation for layoffs.
This is not a done deal. This is not over.
And this is certainly not the end of this story.
Okay, Julie, thanks. We'll know you stay on it. Liz?